So, have you ever had a really, really bad day? Like your family got ill, or you just found out there's a lot more spiders hiding in your room than you first realised, or you just went on this date with your boyfriend but he didn't show because he wanted to bang a hot demon chick instead. So you get drunk as hell and stumble out of the restaurant and end up meeting a girl that falls from the sky who starts talking nonsense that you're about to die, and then this big puppet looking thing that is apparently human lands next to her and starts talking to a ref that's a demon, so you beat him up with your powers that you gained from being experimented on by your old school principal who executed your ex-girlfriend that you still love to this day, and accidentally get yourself unwittingly entered into this death game run by demons by killing the puppet guy with a metal pipe. You didn't experience that last one? Well then you aren't Isabel Erin Fisher, and welcome to Black Widow Apocalypse. And if you liked anything I just said about it, just go and read it. I gave a link to the comic in the comments, so you can just go down there and there'll be a link to both the website version and the app version if you're on mobile. It's an amazing journey that has twists and turns at every corner. Though mostly it's a constant adrenaline rush with amazing fights. And if you aren't fully convinced and need a little bit over the edge, if you're male or lesbian, I think there's a few things you might want to consider. Hey, that's how I got into it. And for those that don't like that kind of content, do not worry, it is not over the top with it. It is simply a slight part of the background. I don't really know how to exactly shill something, so instead I'm just going to give you a few things I like from the comic. If you like it, you can read it. If you don't, well then you can at least stick around for the end so you can watch the Smash Pass part 3.5, because of course if there is going to be a media that I like that has attractive women in it, it's going to make me do another Smash Pass. Part 1. The characters. Every single one is creative, either design-wise, writing-wise, or even if they do not have a good design or a good character, they almost always have one good scene to their name. And usually, if they aren't any of the first two, then they're likely not in many scenes anyway. Very big spoilers ahoy. Anyway, Mac here was really boring and served no purpose after the Deus Ex Machina to save Izzy from Deadhead. But in his end talk with 99, it just bumped him up from boring to a so much more interesting character than, oh, this is the guy with hate boners for cyborgs. Speaking of 99, Crush, if you ever wish to make plushies of your characters through Makeship or whatever, please make one of 99. I beg of you. I'll take 100. I'll take a cup. I'll take a poster. I will let this depravity spiral to the point of which I will buy an actual body pillow. Yes, I am serious. I will buy a body pillow. I need anything related to this absolutely adorable little gremlin. Part 2. The art. This one will be short because it is very simple. Look at how cool this shit is. That's it. End of segment. Look at awesome. Read awesome. Go. The designs can be badass. They can be cute. They can be imposing. The colours mean literally everything. Also, sort of part 3, also sort of part of the art, the fights. Of course, as a Death Battle fan, I'm going to be the first one to point this out, but these fights really get into it. They rarely actually make blood red and yet still be insanely gory and in-depth. And yet also insanely smart too. The way the system of that if you decide you must not die, I swear by blah 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 oath, you genuinely become immortal until you complete this task is so cool. I love the power system. We even have our own version of power creep. The 6th program used to be the power, yet now it's basically just a benchmark, and it can get really wacky too, in a very good way. Now, whilst there is possibly more to say about Black Widow Apocalypse, I'm going to cut right here, as everything else I could possibly say about Black Widow Apocalypse is very, very spoiler heavy. I've been trying to dance around it for a while and I really can't, so we're going to give you over to past Jason, as this concludes my shill for Black Widow Apocalypse. I hope you enjoyed the comic as much as I did. I'm assuming future Jason sent you over to me? Good, because it's time for round 3.5. I don't want to go on for too long. But if this is attached to the Black Widow Apocalypse video, just to let you know, I've been waiting so long to feature the female characters from Black Widow Apocalypse on a Smash or Pass. And we'll also have a few more sprinkled in at the end just because I felt like it. Round 1, Izzy Fisher. And we've already found someone basically perfect. Listen, if Uzi can get into the top of round 2, human Uzi rated R is absolutely getting into wife tier. Or should I say, absolutely getting into wife tier. Round 2, Ingrid Guttoli. She's just as perfect as Izzy, except less angry and more quiet. However, my main concern is the food bill in this scenario. My girl can eat. Thankfully for me, there's an even more really concerning part, which is she can tell cells what to do. That is her main ability, which means if we're having a little spat and she thinks, oh, well, that was a dick move. You know what? You should have a heart attack. I'm gonna have a fucking heart attack. And I know for a fact she wouldn't, but that's kind of scary, okay? But thankfully for Miss Guttoli,
joke's on you, I'm into that shit!
Another wife tier. Can we go 3 for 3? Oh, 99. What more can I say? First we had human Uzi, and now we have human Sin. You really know my type, Black Widow Apocalypse. Weird, I'm used to saying Liam Vickers there. Oh well. Anyway, 99 is freaking adorable. And more importantly, actually sane enough to reason with and have a relationship with. Unlike the person that I was referencing earlier. I know this is technically a smash or pass and not a date or pass, but it really helps sometimes to know you aren't going to have your intestines slurped up like a bowl of ramen noodles at the end of the day. Even if I'm like the last person who would ever complain about that, especially in consideration for these characters. Either way, you know exactly where this character is going. And that's all the main girls of Black Widow Apocalypse. Yes, all of them got into wife tier. No, I don't have a type. But whilst we're here, why not have a little bit of fun, right? More characters, and now with the 4th pick, we have Gumi. Jumi? I don't know. From my limited knowledge, Gumi is basically poor man's Miku, but also not. I don't know. Listen, she's the green one. And she's possibly one of the better ones, actually. Teto is too trolly, Nero is too unknown, Miku is too popular, so in the middle of that we have Gumi, who seems genuinely just pretty chill. However, what really does it for me is that there's one specific art piece that I cannot show on this website, and that won me over. It's not the type you would expect, but let's just keep it over there, shall we? Did you really think I would forget about my boy Liam Vickers? No. I forgot the Japanese chick. First and foremost, she's an Indonesian cube, which means she's got all the benefits of Icon. And when I mean benefits, I mean...
It's like your pathetic livestock, fattening yourself up for when I consume your molecules.
What a romantic species. Anyway, considering that I'm down horrendous for Icon, you can imagine that she's gonna get pretty high. However, I don't speak anime sushi manga. It's the same issue as Doll from Murder Drones. I don't speak vodka bear cold. However, the character themselves, in hindsight, I probably should have put in yes, but, because yes, but we're going to need Google Translate. However, I've already closed Google, have all the pictures of the placements, and I can't go back without a lot of hassle, so pretend she's in the tier higher, okay? Final round, Scourge of the Chimera Miku. and also a little cameo from V2 in the background. Now, the first thing I see is, of course, her two very big personalities. However, she is kind of a bitch. Also now very dead. I had to think long and hard about this one, and not in the same way that I would think long and hard about like Uzi or Izzy, just in the normal context of those words put in that sentence. Because on one hand, it's a Miku variant, and this is a very maturely built Miku variant. However, self-centered much? I would be lying if I didn't say I was honestly expecting Miku to call Teto a clanker at this bit. And I wouldn't put it past her too. This one's weird. Even if we could technically call this one a vampire due to how ultra kill machines work, sorry mate, this one's gonna be a pass. Oh, and thank you for sticking around to the end of my interesting talks today. And reading BlackWidow Apocalypse might be important, considering I am planning on doing something at some point somewhat related to it.